This was Naru's first time hunting. She never expected her bowstring to snap. The enraged grizzly bear immediately charged in her direction. At the critical moment, her dog ran out, drawing the bear's attention. Thanks to that, Naru narrowly escaped with her life. After quickly repairing her bow, she returned to the base of the mountain, ready to hunt again. But just then, her dog suddenly reappeared. It sprinted past her without stopping. With no other choice, Naru dove into the river, hoping to escape the bear's attack. She crawled out from beneath the water onto a fallen tree trunk, but to her horror, the grizzly climbed up after her. It let out a furious roar, staring directly at Naru, just when she thought she was about to become its next meal. The bear suddenly stopped its assault. Out of nowhere, it began fighting with an unseen creature nearby. The terrifying sight left Naru trembling, frozen in fear. The creature effortlessly lifted the grizzly bear over its head, reveling in the blood that poured from its prey. Bit by bit, the monster's terrifying form began to reveal itself. Naru stood frozen, utterly stunned by the bizarre scene. Realizing the danger, she immediately dove back into the water. She had to escape now, or she would be the creature's next target. At that moment, the monster fully emerged from the shadows, using thermal vision to lock onto Naru's position. Luckily, Naru was a strong swimmer. She managed to flee downstream and escape the river. Still shaken, Naru rushed back to the tribe. She told them everything that had just happened, but no one believed that any creature could kill a grizzly bear with its bare hands. Everyone thought Naru was lying. Instead of listening, they restrained her on the spot. What they didn't know was that the monster was already watching them silently from the treetops. Suddenly, strange sounds came from the nearby woods. The group quickly raised their bows and prepared to attack, but upon closer inspection, it was just a few small rabbits. Their leader even mocked Naru for being so easily frightened, but as he stepped forward to pick up the prey, 3 eerie red dots suddenly appeared on his body. One of the warriors instantly sensed something was wrong. He quickly launched an attack in the direction of the monster. As the arrow struck, the predator finally revealed its true form. But instead of fleeing, the fearless tribesmen drew their spears. They were ready to face it head-on in single combat. Unfortunately, they had greatly overestimated their own strength. They were no match for the predator. Seeing that things were going south, Naru immediately grabbed her axe and cut the ropes from her wrists. She then sprinted into the depths of the forest without hesitation, but before she got far, she stumbled upon her comrade Puhi hiding in the tall grass. The two quickly came up with a plan to ambush the creature from a concealed spot. As they quietly tracked the predator's movements, Puhi seized the moment and raised his bow. Just then, Naru sensed something was wrong. 3 red dots had appeared on Puhi's forehead. The predator had already locked onto him. The two took off running once again, but the predator was simply too fast. Puhi was soon caught and brutally strangled into a cloud of blood mist. Focused solely on escaping, Naru failed to see the trap beneath her feet. She was instantly caught in a steel bear trap, crashing to the ground. No matter how hard she struggled, the trap wouldn't budge. The predator began reeling in the chain slowly. Just when Naru thought her end had come, 4 large men suddenly appeared in front of her, and just like that, Naru fell into their hands. When Naru woke up again, she found herself and her brother, Tabe, tied to wooden stakes. It turned out those men planned to use them as bait to lure the creature. Now they were fully armed and ready to strike, but just as they searched for the predator through their spyglasses, one of them was suddenly sliced clean in half from behind. The horses nearby sensed danger and bolted in fear. Looking around in panic, they finally realized they were under surprise attack by the predator. One of the men, terrified, tried to flee for his life, but the predator hurled a spear that pierced straight through his chest. Now, the only ones left in the forest were Naru and Tabe. The predator reappeared, its black claws gleaming with a terrifying aura. Seeing the terrifying creature fall to the ground, one of the hunters quickly pulled out a net to capture it, but before they could even celebrate, A sharp wire shot through the hunter's skull. The predator instantly broke free from its restraints. It then hurled a mechanical net in one swift motion. Next, the predator drew its blade, and with a single slash, severed the trap clamped around its foot. The creature activated the shield on its arm. In an instant, it blocked all incoming bullets. To the predator, these seasoned hunters were nothing but helpless prey. As more and more men fell at the hands of the monster, the remaining hunters were consumed with rage. They raised their rifles and opened fire in a wild frenzy. But the predator suddenly pressed a button on its gauntlet. Moments later, it launched into flight mode. It darted through the treetops, effortlessly evading bullets. In just seconds, it vanished from their sight. Seizing the moment, Nera quickly used the trap to cut through the ropes on her wrists. She and Tabe wasted no time and escaped the deadly battlefield. As everyone wondered why the creature had fled, the gauntlet it left behind on the ground began to change. From inside, 3 circular spinning devices suddenly rose into the air. Before anyone could react, the devices detonated in a massive explosion, completely destroying the surrounding forest. Meanwhile, Nero had already arrived at the enemy camp. She was there to retrieve her hunting weapon, but to her surprise, she spotted her loyal dog. Just as one of the men was about to kill it, Nero rushed in and snatched the dagger from his hand. To save her beloved dog, Nero fought with every ounce of strength she had. At that moment, the rope around the dog's neck was finally cut loose, just as Nero was about to tend to the wound on her foot. A man holding a flintlock suddenly appeared nearby, but instead of attacking Nero, he pleaded with her to treat the injury on his foot. As a token of gratitude, the man gave Nero his only firearm, but before she could even bandage his wound, a terrifying roar echoed from the distance. The man immediately dropped to the ground. Pretending to be dead, the predator scanned the area, but didn't detect any signs of life. At that moment, Nero was hiding behind the trunk of a tree. Just as the predator was about to leave, it suddenly stepped on the man's wounded leg. The unlucky man had no chance to run. He was immediately impaled by the predator's blade. At that moment, the dog's bark rang out in the distance. The predator quickly drew its weapon. It activated its infrared targeting system, locking onto the dog sprinting through the trees. Just as it was about to strike its prey, Neru's brother, Tabe, suddenly appeared. He struck from behind, knocking off the predator's helmet. The red laser targeting beam immediately shifted to a nearby tree. The arrows seemed to be guided, each one hitting the red dot on the tree with precision. At the same time, Neru took the opportunity to load gunpowder into the firearm, just as the predator was putting its mask back on. It proved how cunning it truly was, vanishing from their sight in an instant. With no sign of the creature, the two of them were left helpless and tense. Then, out of nowhere, Tabe suddenly sensed danger behind him. The predator then shifted its focus to Neru. As it slowly approached her, Tabe used the last of his strength to hold the creature back. By the time it turned around, Neru had already vanished from sight. But Neru hadn't run away. With more and more of her people falling victim to the predator, she was filled with rage and a desire for revenge. Soon, she spotted one of the fleeing enemies in the distance. A plan quickly formed in her mind. Moments later, the man was ambushed by Neru. That night, she used him as bait to lure the predator. Its helmet was knocked off in the chaos. Neru seized the moment and took the helmet for herself, but that only served to enrage the predator even more. The predator's arm was instantly severed, But that injury wasn't nearly enough to bring the beast down. With a swift motion, the predator grabbed Naru by the throat, then slammed her violently into the ground. Naru struggled to break free. Gasping for breath, the predator activated its shield and pinned her against the rocks. In that critical moment, Naru ripped one of the predator's teeth from its mouth and stabbed it deep into the creature's flesh. Just then, her loyal dog rushed over with a weapon clenched in its jaws. Seeing the opportunity, Naru dashed over, grabbed her axe, and hacked at the predator's legs. She yanked on the rope with all her strength, pulling the monster directly into the trap she had prepared. In an instant, the predator vanished from sight, but Naru knew all too well it wasn't dead yet. Just as expected, the predator soon crawled out of the trap. It immediately drew its weapon, ready to shoot Naru, but everything was unfolding exactly as she had planned. She had already aligned the targeting lasers from the predator's helmet right onto its head. The moment it fired, the shot backfired, hitting its own skull. At last, Naru returned to her tribe holding the predator's severed head. Because of her incredible bravery, Naru was honored as the new leader of the tribe, and her loyal dog was celebrated as a hero by her side.